All right, I have 4:15. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I guess we'll have to use that one. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call: Sam Martin, Martha Eldridge, and Rick Mulligan's here. Public input. David.
I'm here to hear about the economic development zone, and I know that's going to be presented, and just, I don't know, whatever you feel like saying, say it. So I'm in the mood to collect a lot of words. So don't be brief on my account. Does it have anything to do with the mountain? I didn't get a chance to see.
Yeah, yes and no. Let me find it here. I've got it someplace. And I would certainly invite you also to touch base with Ash Fishmine, who's sitting right behind you, who's head of our Economic Development Committee. He can kind of fill in some of those blanks for you as well. I participated in a roundtable discussion along with Ash and the owners, the current owners of the former Mount Whittier, 2-3 months ago now, I guess, 3-4 months ago. One of the things that was discussed in that meeting was trying to designate that area as an economic revitalization zone to help spur economic development in the West Ossipee area. The town of Ossipee already had 2 economic development zones, which we had previously established, one being down where the, well, now it's Technicoil, it was formerly, what was it before it? Lytron Electrics. When that building and area went vacant down there and that shut down, we made a zone there, and we made a zone here in the village. The economic revitalization zone allows for some very specific tax breaks on the state level. And as importantly, I think, it goes into a database so that any company who's looking for an area to locate, then it's a way that the town can convey that we're open and would love to have a business located here. So it was going to be announced in a little bit, but it's here in the red folder. We've got a letter dated November 8th. This is from Taylor Caswell, the Commissioner of Business and Economic Affairs. This letter and the attached ERZ designation form constitute the approval of the Town of Ossepee's application designating the following as an economic revitalization zone. And it's going to be named the West Ossipee District. It is my hope that this designation will allow for increased business investment and job creation in this area of the Town of Ossipee. If you have any questions regarding this economic development program, please feel free to contact them. So our application to have that area designated was in fact approved. It's a good thing. What it will actually do, the future will tell us.
No, is John Kenny still the owner, or did it get sold?
Yeah, as far as I know, he's still.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the one that was there at the round table that I participated in.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yep. While you're here, another thing that I think may be of interest is a follow-up to articles that you've had in the past. This is regarding the intersection of 28 and 171. We got carbon copied part of an interdepartment communication between the state and DES on a dredge and fill permit. In this letter it says, originally, as shown on the original permit, the department proposed to build an exclusive right turn lane on the southbound side of Route 28. The original permit application noted total impacts of 2,937 square feet, and a permit was issued for that scope of work. However, the original scope did not comprehensively address safety issues at the intersection. The project scope was revised to address ongoing safety concerns at this intersection. This intersection has a history of severe crashes causing bodily injury and fatalities. The Town of Ossipee has aggressively pursued a solution that improves safety and has actively worked with the department to develop a plan. Short-term remedial actions have been taken. The long-term solution selected by the department and approved by the Town of the town to increase safety at the intersection is the installation of a roundabout. Roundabout will reduce the speed of the traveling public, especially on 28, which has been the predominant reason for the history of crash injuries and fatalities. This project has been accelerated to advertise on April 16th, 2019, so that the roundabout may be nearly fully built before the end of the 2019 construction season, which is good. So that was, I'm sure, as a result of our elected representatives lobbying on our behalf, as well as that emergency meeting that we held, evidently has certainly done some benefits. If you remember, that wasn't due to be advertised or constructed until 2020. The fact that we were able to get it moved up a year, I think, is a great thing. So hopefully, with any luck at all, and the good Lord, we can not have any more serious accidents until this can get completed. So it's due for 2019.
Wow, that's amazing. Is there, was that because of the dredge and fill, or like those two ideas have something to do with the permit with the dredge and fill, and then the date moving up? Are those two things different, or are they the same?
They're not. This is the way, quite frankly, we had not been formally notified, although we had asked for it to be expedited. We had not otherwise been notified that it was going out to bid in April of 2019 to be constructed in 2019. This is their interdepartment communication, which we were copied, which shows that it has in fact been moved up, which is a great thing.
He's talking about the two different aspects, the roundabout and the right turn lane.
Yeah, originally the right turn lane was going to impact more than is the roundabout. The only thing that's going to be changed, I mean, you can have a copy of this if you'd like to help with your article, but the revised impacts associated with the utility pole relocations will impact a total of 432 square feet. So the roundabout is going to impact less than what the turn lane was.
Any word on the abutters that were supposed to be notified? I mean, it sounds like it must have been taken care of.
I'm hoping. One of the abutters was here, Attorney Rick Sager, and they were ready to sign. One corner of the intersection is owned by Huggins Hospital. I believe one of our representatives is on the board of directors for the hospital and didn't anticipate any issue. The state already owns one corner, which left only one corner left, and again, no reason to believe that that will be an issue.
And then, sorry, one more thing. Then the family, last I left them, wanted more temporary improvements. We haven't heard any update on that.
We've not.
With winter coming in, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, what the family of the young girl that was killed and what an awful lot of people were asking for was a temporary four-way stop. The department was pretty adamant that they believed it would be more dangerous than to not do it at all. I'm encouraged by them eliminating the passing zone, by installing the rumble strips on Route 28. They have dramatically increased the lighting, the strobes on the stop signs. I don't know how much more.
Rumble strips on 28, I mean 171.
On 171, I'm sorry if I said the rumble strips on 171. So.
And the radar.
And the radar signs, which those are going to also be permanent. We still have our police department is working with the sheriff's department, state police on increased patrols of that area. And all of those things we're hopeful can get us through this interim until the roundabout can be constructed.
Especially that they're going to do it sooner.
Correct. Yeah.
It's a big help.
Yeah. It is. So, I was very impressed. I got to be honest with you. You know, my other life as a police chief, I worked with the state a lot. In the 6 years I've been here, we've worked with the state a lot. Nothing happens in state government in 3 or 4 days, and yet it did. And I'm genuinely impressed that they heard what we were. Listen, I'm also not naive. It didn't hurt having the governor's office, our elected representatives, the governor's council, and everybody else here. But I am genuinely impressed that they acted as fast as they did. So, anybody else on the public input? If not, we'll start into the rest of the We have the minutes of the Selectmen's meeting. First of all, by way of announcement, at 2:30 and at 3 o'clock this afternoon, we had non-public sessions under RSA 91A32A and C, one being a personnel matter and the other with our tax collector on a payment plan for a delinquent taxpayer. Make a motion that we seal those minutes. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We also had a department head meeting with our recreation director and doing budget reviews. So I have the minutes of the Selectmen's meeting, which occurred on Monday, November 5th. I make a motion we accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have the minutes of the Selectmen's workshop and finance meeting, which occurred on Monday, November 5th. I make a motion we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Check voucher totals, week ending 11/17, payroll was $41,082.60. We had accounts payable for week ending 11/12 in the amount of $41,041.26. We dispersed to the 3 fire precincts $111,344 for a total dispersed of $193,467.86. Additionally, we had a water and sewer accounts payable, which we track separately, in the amount of $4,085.96. I make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. These are just the check voucher totals. There's a multi-tiered review of every bill that comes in long before it gets to this process. Payroll reimbursement request from water and sewer in the amount of $3,443.46. I make a motion to sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a memo from the tax collector, Kelly Skian, to Board of Selectmen. I am happy to say that we have received the Moose License Plate Grant for fiscal year 2018-2019 in the amount of $9,988 to be used to preserve Ossipee records from 1822 to 1947. Replacing a warrant article for the 2019 budget to receive this money in 2019. So you're in the folder if anybody'd like to look at it. We have a copy of the warrant which was signed instructing the tax collector to collect $7,880,059.99. See in the folder. We have a copy of the check voucher totals which were paid last week. We did not have a meeting. Payroll for week ending 11/10 was $41,602.94. Accounts payable for week ending 11/5 was $26,521.86. for a total dispersed last week of $68,124.80. Additionally, we had water and sewer accounts payable, which we track separately, the amount of $6,083.45. Also last week, the payroll reimbursement request, which was approved, was for water and sewer, was $3,113.18. We have our proposed contract with Clodzik and Sanderson to do our audit. This is the same firm that we've been using for a good many years now. It is the same contract which we have had with the audit all of our books, water and sewer. There are no changes, correct?
Correct.
Now, the fee for the services is estimated to be between $16,000 and $19,000. It depends on how many actual field days they end up spending here. I make a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Just have more than one signature on We have the town investment policy, which we update annually. We have not made any changes to it. This policy's origination date was back in 1999. It was updated in 7/2017. We've made no changes to it this year, but I make a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a copy of a wetlands permit, which is here for anybody to look at. We just get carbon copied them. This is for 27 Bear Camp River Road. It's for stabilization and stabilizing an exposed excavation along the Bear Camp River. We also have a second one, which is 46 Channel Road, and is to construct a perched beach no larger than 900 square feet on a slope of less than 25%. Both of those are quite large, and they're here if anybody'd like to look at them. We have a copy of the Highway Department work log, which is here in the folder if you'd like to see it. We have a copy of the consent calendar from the Governor's Council, which is here. We have a copy of a check we received from Planet Aid in the amount of $110.75. We have a notice of decision from the Planning Board. This is case number 18-3-BLA. It's 139, 141 Ossipee Mountain Road. They were granted a boundary line adjustment. We have a notice of decision from the Zoning Board of Adjustment for case number 18-17-B. 18 Frost Road was granted a variance front setback. 18-17-SE was granted a special exception for to construct a non-conforming addition and deck. We have notice of decision from the Zoning Board of Adjustment. This is 18-15-V, 6 Broad Bay Road. It's granted a variance and a special exception. Notice of decision from the Board of Adjustment, case number 18-13-V, 8 Frost Road. It's granted a variance and side setbacks. Zoning Board of Adjustment, decision 18-14-V, 70 Nichols Road was granted a variance for front, side, and rear setbacks to build an 8 by 10 foot storage shed. We have a memo from Brad Harriman regarding the Youngs Road plowing. Attached is a proposal for the plowing and sanding of Youngs Road off of Browns Ridge Road. As in past years, Jacob Sawyer has the contract to plow and sand Stoneview Road, so it makes sense to have him plow and sand Youngs Road while he was there, which is only about 300 feet long. The quote is the same price as past years, $50 per trip for plowing and $50 per application for sanding. Any questions? I make a motion that we approve. All in favor? Aye. A memo from Brad regarding the installation of speed bumps on Deer Cove Road.
Yeah, this is a, first had a phone call from a person from the Deer Cove South Condo Association, I think they call themselves, asking me about it. So I requested that they put it in writing, get it to us so I could present it to you guys here. And that's the letter that I got from them. As you can see, I had a few concerns there. One being, with the name of the association, are they just the condo association, or are they representing everybody in there and along that area road there runs along by the beach there? But the other question is the map shows where they're going to locate them. That one they show on the road before you get to South Shore Road. To me, it seemed like it was out a little bit far. I think it should be in, if they're gonna do it, they should be in beyond South Shore Road. And then the question of liability.
Is that a town road?
It is a town road.
And they want to install the speed bumps themselves?
Yes. They would put them in and remove them according to their plan. Put them in around Memorial Day, remove them in October sometime.
And they can't go very fast.
Yeah.
They can't go in
This
No.
is-
I obviously, I mean, whether or not they should be speed bumps is something that I would have you go down and evaluate, but I'm not, absolutely not in favor of this association installing stuff on a town road that we're then gonna be liable for.
Well,
That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. So. If you recall, must have been 8, 9, 10 years ago, we tried putting them out here around for the school. And within about a month of them going in, we had them anchored into the pavement and everything with their system they had there. And the anchors started coming up, the bolts started coming up out of the pavement there. Luckily, we saw it and moved them before a car drove over them because they were up like 6 inches in the air there and they would have taken a tire right out of a car or a truck or anything that went over them. So we removed them at that point and then we put them back in, obviously. So they're very high maintenance and difficult to keep in place.
I've seen the speed limit down there is what, 50 miles an hour, so.
Oh, which is the other thing. You cannot legally enforce a speed limit of less than 25 miles an hour on a town road, period.
Are those
You
our
can-
signs? Are they our signs, speed signs?
Yeah, probably. They're recommended. But what I'm saying is you can't enforce a speed limit of less than 25 miles an hour on any Class 6 town road, Class 5 town road. So the fact that they're going more than 15, it really doesn't bear it.
As narrow as that road is, I don't see the need for it. I can't believe the speed would be anywhere near
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would warrant speed bumps.
What I'm going to suggest is that we send a letter back to them that we do not allow private organizations or people to install items on the town roads.
And I would also mention the speed signs.
And if our public works director wanted to, felt there was a need for that on a town road, then he would be the one to do it and bring it back to us. But I don't see any need for it myself. But.
Work with them if you want to draft a letter to send back.
Yeah. You all set with that?
Yeah.
Fine.
We have a water and sewer warrant. Instructing the tax collector to collect $179.20 and make a motion to sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have a second water and sewer warrant instructing the tax collector to collect $216.79 and make a motion to sign it. All in favor?
Aye.
What's it? Robert Street. One of the names on the bottom.
All right, old business. Economic revitalization zone we've covered. Sidewalks, right, anything?
No, I have been in contact with the subs there to work on getting the new pricing to me and stuff, so that's in process right now.
And what do you cover for?
Nothing new on that right now.
New business. Budgets. Long-term debt, we actually don't have any. It's the only item is the interest on our line of credit. It's level funded at $10,000, same as last year. I make a motion and we put that number forward to the budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have the library.
treasurer.
How are you?
I'll try. I know you have a little voice, but I can hear you. Okay. So our library expenses are up by 515, and that's mostly due to putting a little more in our fuel line. The salaries are reflect the 2% raise. The health insurance is up quite a bit because the rates went up. And nothing else is up too much.
What's the insurance on?
That is the short-term disability insurance.
It was split up by each, it was formally last year in the selectmen's office, now it's been split to each department.
How much do you expect to expend by the end of the year? I know you're at 177 now.
What is your question again? How much do we expect to?
You adopted 219, you spent 177, almost 178. Do you expect to go through the rest of it to the end of the
I don't think we'll go through all the part-time wages. So I'm thinking maybe
Sorry about that.
Thought you could sign
Yeah, I
real
did
quick by
too.
hitting that button.
I'll do it again. I knew it was going to go again.
She was just telling me she has a little button and silences
Dude, it
it
doesn't
real
work.
quickly.
Doesn't work.
So
It's
maybe-
loud.
maybe 6,000 to 8,000 will not be spent.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it starts.
Any questions?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
That would probably need to be encumbered for the first part of next year.
No, not the part-time wages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
How many full-time employees do you have at the library?
3.
3? Okay.
And how many part-time?
We have one part-time that's has regular hours, and then we have a sub that fills in.
Just past that.
Any other questions? I make a motion that we put forward to the budget committee the amount of $225,739, $740. I'm gonna round it off. $225,740.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fire warden, sir.
The budget, all level funded in the last year, as it has been the last couple of years.
Do you have any, I know you haven't spent a lot, but do you have any equipment or else you're waiting on?
Yeah, that's what that 1,119 sitting there for. That should have already been paid out. I just talked to Karen today. We haven't received a bill. We get the pump back in like August. We had to replace a pump head. So I don't know why we haven't got the bill for it yet, but we're trying to track that down. And then I've got some other hand tools and hose bags that I've ordered at this point, but it won't be the 5,000.
I make a motion that we approve the fire warden budget level funded at $21,955. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir.
Twist the button.
Hmm?
Twist the button.
We have the ambulance budget. That is by contract. Last year it was $265,628. This year it will be $266,937.
That will remain through the rest of the contract.
And now it levels out at that $266,937, and there's what, 2 more years on the contract?
Yeah, it expires March 31st of 2020.
2020. I make a motion we put forward to the budget committee $266,937. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have the emergency management budget, which was level funded at $6,700. I make a motion we put that number forward to the budget committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Water and sewer. Sir.
Okay.
Don't follow you.
As you go down through there, then we have the 2% in there for the raises there. The big on the sewer, on the first page here on the sewer side, the biggest increase there is on the health insurance. We have a worker that's going to a family plan from, was he single before, or was single going to a family plan there, so.
You gonna get married?
Well, he's got to put his kids on, yeah, so. And the other ones there, we've juggled a few things around. We dropped down the sampling tests, go down about 5-6 lines there. With DES there, it's kind of like over the transfer station. Some years they require more testing than others. This year coming up is one of the lower years. So we're able to drop that from $5,000 down to $1,500. And we're pretty much level funded down through to maintenance and monitoring at $800. That is for that new system that we're going to put in for the remote monitoring of the pump stations and everything there.
What's that under, Brad?
Maintenance and monitoring.
Fourth one up from the bottom on the first page.
Maintenance.
Okay.
Go back to this next page. We did reduce our second line down in the sewer, the infrastructure replacement. We dropped from 40 down to 30. We wanted to do some lagoon cleanouts this year. We asked for bids on those. We couldn't get any bids because everyone was too busy, so we're working with the people now to get bids in over the winter here and hopefully get it done for next spring or summer when it gets actually dry enough in there for the lagoons down low enough to clean them out. Let's see, and we've got another health insurance line. We'll get into the water system there on the fourth line down. The health insurance increased there, $3,500. And let's see, going down, the chemicals, we're up $500 on that, from $4,500 to $5,000. And the minor ones, phone $300, computer up $200. Let's see, electric, looking, what's that?
I went up on the electric.
Yeah. We're over now and stuff.
Yeah, we're
Still
over
got
now.
some more going on, 2 more months of electricity being used. Fuel's the same. The maintenance and monitoring, $1,600. I have to help out with that one, Bo.
That's part of that same thing, because we have the water side of it. This is the water for Pine River and the tank. Okay, that's a 16, because this would be a quarterly fee we have to pay. Then the $800 is for the year for Beach River. Okay, on the sewer end of it.
And we've already had the money to buy the modules or whatever was needed to put in.
Yep.
This is just what it's gonna cost to monitor.
Maintenance, yeah.
It'd be the contract they have with them to operate it.
Yeah.
So have you already pursued that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got the stuff all ordered.
Yeah, he called me today.
Good.
Yeah.
So
He's supposed to install it next month.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you anticipate any reduction in your overtime as a result of that being able to go in?
I do.
Okay.
I do, yes. It's gonna take time, but yes.
Yep. Okay.
let's see, then we're level funded right down to the third one up from the bottom, sampling test. Same thing there, we have extra testing we're gonna do, more testing we're gonna do this year on the water side. The $750 we had to increase it.
Is that to do just additional random?
Additional, yeah. Yeah, every 2 years we have to, like lead and copper, for instance, we did this past year. Every year you'll have extra stuff that you have to do, and that you'll have it this year that you won't have the following year. Every couple of years on certain things.
If you wouldn't mind, would you give us something that shows what we do for water testing, what we're required?
Yeah.
You've heard me before.
Yeah.
If the state requires it once a year or once every 2 years, I personally want to be doing double whatever it is that they require. Now, I know, and I see you start to shake your head. Two things. One, I always want to make sure that our water system is safe. We all do.
Yeah.
But I can tell you without question that from a liability standpoint, if you are exceeding what the state requires, you are in tremendous shape going forward. Give you an example. When I was chief of police, they required us to qualify once a year. State required. So we qualified twice a year. The state required 70% to pass. We required 80%. So long as you are exceeding what the government agency requires, from a liability standpoint, you are in really strong shape. So if we're only testing once every 2 years for lead, I would like to do that every year. If we're doing it once a year, I'd rather do it twice a year. Those water tests are not expensive. They're not overly expensive when you compare it into what we spend for our water system. It's not expensive.
Now I remember on the sample, on that water one, this increase was new testing that has to be done every year, like the PFOAs and stuff like that. They're making it mandatory that we do it every year now. That's what that increase was.
It's minimal.
As you can see, actually back on the first page, I've kind of skipped over the expected revenues coming in. We're anticipating about $27,000 more than the previous year. So previous year we expected 387. This coming year we're expecting 414. One of the biggest drivers of that is the pumping of the tanks over at the Carroll County complex. They're bringing the stuff to us now, whereas they weren't before. So it's a certain company.
A certain company, we had a little, we didn't get along very well at one time, and now we're come to an agreement, and now they're using us again.
Nice. I make a motion that we put forward to the budget committee for the water and sewer department the amount of $457,605. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, sir. Public input. Again, anybody?
I just have one thing.
Yep.
This thing with the intersections, 71 and 28, they've had a flashing light there for over 5 years. When it came to a temporary fix, what the hell was the problem with putting a permanent red or stoplight there?
We've been, all I can say is you'd have to listen to them, and I'll be honest with you, they convinced me that to put a temporary stop on Route 28 was likely to cause more accidents than what we already have. They convinced me of that. The same way I laughingly said you can in fact teach old dogs new tricks. I was convinced for a long time that a four-way stop was the answer to that intersection. I am no longer convinced of that.
I'm not talking about a four-way stop sign, I'm talking about the traffic light.
And that's what I'm talking about as well. Four-way traffic light. If you think about it, the dynamics of those accidents, the majority of the fatalities have been by people failing to stop at the stop signs and entering Route 28 where they're hit at full speed. I don't think it is unreasonable to conclude that if some people weren't stopping for the stop signs, then some people wouldn't stop for the stop light. And if that's the case, you're going to continue to have those same high-speed T-bone accidents. The roundabout will, by simple design, require everybody in all four directions to slow down to a speed of 15 to 20 miles an hour to be able to even navigate that circle.
And nobody comes at it straight at it. You enter it at an angle every time.
You will no longer have high-speed T-bone accidents with a roundabout. And they have completely, totally convinced me of that.
And there's
Do
zero.
I think that they present a pain in the neck? Yeah, I do. I don't care. If it stopped killing 17-year-old kids, I couldn't care less.
I'm agreeing with you on the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But for temporary fix, you tell me the four-way stoplight will that help? You got the lights there already, all you do is change the control boxes.
Listen, we had that discussion with the state at length, and it is their position, and listen, comes a point where you have to defer a little bit to a person's expertise. These folks design intersections. They do them all over the state. 28 and 171 is not the only problem intersection that they're dealing with, I am sure.
Well, I know that.
I was satisfactorily convinced by them that it would cause more accidents than what we're doing right now. I think that what they've done with the rumble strips, which again, whether it's inattention, distraction, not being from the area, I don't know, but people weren't stopping for the stop signs. Those rumble strips, if that doesn't get your attention, I don't know what else will. So with what they've done right now, we're very, very hopeful that we can get through this next few months, get the roundabout constructed, and we can go on to worrying about some other areas in town that need attention, but. So.
I agree wholeheartedly with Rick.
Yeah,
I'm sure Sam.
I'm not holding my breath on any of this.
Agree with what they're doing.
Oh, yeah, there are 0 deaths in New Hampshire with the roundabouts.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good number.
That's the
Well,
number we have.
you've only added 2 roundabouts in the last 3 years.
In the state of New Hampshire.
In the state of New Hampshire. Meredith being one of them, and they already have an accident there.
Oh, you'll have accidents in any.
Nobody's killed.
What we have got to get stopped at 16 and 28 are the high-speed T-bone accidents. 171, but you're gonna have, I mean, we have accidents on straightaways. I mean, you're gonna have accidents. But that intersection has got to change, and they have completely convinced me that the roundabout is the answer. So.
Is this public comment?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to ask about, we noticed there's something in the court file about Westward Shores and the town and some campers and stuff. What's going on? What will happen with flood insurance? Is that something the court will figure out, or?
No, the flood insurance is regulated by FEMA.
Yeah.
We have been working with FEMA over the last, it's going to be more than a year now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's over 2 years.
Huh? 2 years?
It's over 2 years.
We've been working with FEMA. FEMA came in, did a site assessment on the old section of Westwood Shores Campground. The new section is going to be fine because it's under being constructed in compliance with the floodplain ordinance. A whole lot of the old section was not in compliance with the floodplain. So we've been working with the new owners to bring the old section of the campground into compliance with the floodplain ordinance. If we didn't do that, then FEMA could remove our flood insurance. And the flood insurance
It gives the homeowner a discounted rate on
flood insurance. We've been working with them for a long time. And not just on Westwood Shores. There's another seasonal campground down here. There's 2 more seasonal campgrounds that we've also been working on to bring them into compliance. We have been served with a lawsuit by almost like somewhat like a class action lawsuit by many of the owners of these structures in Westwood Shores. We are named in the suit. It's a suit that's filed against the new owners of Westwood Shores and the town of Ossipee, and I don't know if FEMA was named in it or not, but they're resisting doing what it is that they're required to do. And it will be now decided by a judge.
So if they say, well, we're not going to do what, like what they're not doing, whatever may be required to do, does that affect somebody else in some other part of town, or is that only strictly for them?
No, if the town of Ossipee is found not to be enforcing the floodplain ordinance, then we would lose our designation by FEMA.
The whole town?
For the whole town.
Not just that little section?
For the whole town. So that anybody who is in the town of Ossipee who has flood insurance would very likely see their rates dramatically increase.
Thanks.
So it's not a, you know, do I have empathy for folks that bought down there and bought a place that wasn't in compliance? Sure I do. But they've got to be brought into compliance. It's as simple as that. So we're working with the owners and our code enforcement officer, and now much of it may end up being decided by the court. But it's got to be done. So.
So you guys make the big bucks, right?
That's right.
You figure all that stuff out.
That's good. So, you live in Ossipee?
No, I live in Tamworth. Pretty close.
So say if you live in Ossipee, you run for my seat, I'm not running again, so.
Oh, that's above my pay grade.
The last thing I wanted to say on the new business, and it was something that I saw a program on, and I know that Ash, if he was still here, would agree with. I would really like to encourage people to embrace the shop local. It's kind of a mantra that's being out there, and it should have been read along, but we have a lot of really good businesses in town. We have a lot of good restaurants in town, and when it comes to holiday shopping, if you shop local, you're not only supporting that person, you're supporting the people that work there, you're supporting the town. That's where a great deal of our revenue comes from. I really encourage people to consider doing as much locally as they can. Not for nothing, but to go off to some of these big box stores, that's going to some corporation that's God knows where, full of stuff, you know, that's made on the backs of people who make pennies a day overseas. So I encourage people to shop local. Gift certificates for our local restaurants are fantastic gifts. Now we got several gift places. I mean, Sap House Meadery, I mean, Tremley Artisans, Ossipee Owl. There's a lot of really good gift venues right here locally, and I encourage people to do that. Anything else in the new business?
I don't think so.
There is a budget committee meeting on Wednesday the 28th, and that's at 6:30 at the Freight House. Do you have anything else? If not, I make a motion we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Both.